Welcome to the Rachel Harper podcast. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe so that you never miss an episode that is uploaded weekly. So you want an ultimate list of self-discovery journaling prompts. Well, I'm going to give you 5 so that you can get your journey started. Let's jump right into it. I want to give you a quick tip when it comes to your journal prompts. What I like to do is the journal jar technique. With this technique, you take your journal prompts, you cut them out, you place them inside of a jar or a bowl, then you keep them in a place where you always journal. You can pull a self-discovery journal prompt when you're ready to heal your feelings or go through your self-discovery journey, and then you just write, or you can make a list, or you can draw. Whichever type of journaling that you enjoy, you can use those journal prompts to help get you started. The journaling jar technique is one that I absolutely love. Journal prompt number 1. What happened to make me feel this way? The journal prompts that I'm going to give you, they are all for your emotional healing in addition to self-discovery. One of the things that I love about this question is that it invites you to be honest with yourself. When you start thinking back to situations that you're dealing with, it allows you to read it back to yourself and see the seriousness or lack thereof in the situation. Sometimes we can be overly dramatic when it comes to certain situations. Being able to be honest on paper to say, well, this is what really happened. I need to go ahead and heal my emotions, maybe move past it, move beyond it, or have a conversation with the individual who might have hurt you. So it'll allow you to really dig deep into your emotional healing. But first, being honest about your situation, it is so necessary. Instead of just replaying it in your head over and over and over again, it allows you to put the situation down on paper and then put a solution behind it. Am I going to move past it? Yes, absolutely. But how am I going to do that? I'm going to either meet with the person who allowed this hurt to happen, or I'm going to sit with myself. I don't even have to have a conversation with the person. I'm just going to heal what I feel so that I can move beyond it. And once you are able to get used to asking yourself what happened in this situation, it is then in that very moment at the time that you are hurt, once you are used to asking yourself questions, then you'll be able to take those situations and have control. Not control over the situation, but have control over your own feelings, your own emotions. What judgments do I have towards my emotions? Have you ever felt emotionally hurt and you told yourself, you know what, I'm just gonna move past it. I'm just gonna move beyond it. But really deep down inside, you're still hurt by it, right? So you really didn't have any real coping mechanisms. You was just like, I'm just gonna move beyond it. I'm just gonna move past it. And that's it. So here's the thing with that. Emotional triggers are real, right? So when you don't actually heal from a situation, then you can have these emotional triggers that can bring that situation right back up. Then there's that replay, that rumination happening over and over again in your head. And then you start to have all of those same emotions, but you told yourself that you were so over it. That's because you didn't heal. That's because you were not over it. We typically say we are so over it. We try to move past the situation without actually healing from the situation. Are you passing judgment on your feelings? Right? So sometimes we want to try to silence what we're feeling. It says that what you feel, then you can heal. So it is important that you do not pass judgment on your emotions. Sit with your emotions, honor your emotions, say whatever I'm feeling, it's okay. But in order to actually heal, you have to feel exactly what you're feeling without just trying to escape. Journal prompt number 3. Will something bad happen to me if I welcome this emotion? There is this huge fear by many who believe that if you acknowledge an emotion, it may actually lead to a diagnosis. What if you do receive a diagnosis based off an emotion that you welcome? Would healing harm you? So if you were to feel the emotions, let's say for some reason you just can't get out of bed for days at a time, it's been 6 months since that relationship ended, but for some reason you still haven't been able to take a shower, to eat, you haven't been able to really dress yourself, you haven't opened the curtains, and you're afraid that you may get diagnosed with depression. So when you are on a self-discovery journey, self-discover what emotions do you typically run from. We have to know how to silence the shame. Just the same way that your body needs to heal physically, it's the same thing when it comes to your mind. Your mind has to be able to heal and replenish itself. Imagine if you were to never drink water ever again, never exercise ever again, never eat ever again, your body would deteriorate, your muscles would deteriorate. Well, the same thing when it comes to your mind. Having actual tools and techniques that helps you to keep your mind strong. But then also, if it does come down to you having some type of mental illness or a diagnosis, it's okay. Welcoming an emotion with the intent to have it healed is much better than welcoming an emotion with the intent of allowing it to linger without resolution. Journal prompt number 4. What may I have misunderstood about this situation? Perhaps the individual who cut you off on the road and yelled at you out their window has nothing against you. What if what you are observing is not really anger towards you, but it is actually frustration that they just got a bad diagnosis, that they got bad news that their wife or their husband is leaving them? This is why it's important to have emotional intelligence, to understand that sometimes what you see on the surface with other people is really not what you're seeing. And so it is good to have that emotional intelligence and to understand what I see is really not what I'm seeing. So this question allows you to dissect the situation. You may have just been a bystander of an emotion that someone else had because you were the closest person to them. You cannot control a situation, but you can always control how you react to it. Question number 5. How will I feel about the situation in 5 years? When I first got married, I would be so angry if the kitchen was left clean before I went to bed. I know. What I had to realize is that in that situation, there is only so much that I can control. And the only thing that I can control is the conversation that I have with my husband and the way I react to the situation. Those two things had to happen, because before, when I was, getting upset about the kitchen, really what that was old traditions from the household that I was raised in. But I had to realize, listen, you got to slow your roll, create new traditions with your new household, and be able to have conversations, be able to control my emotions. I think that's important, because think about it. 5 years from now here I am 8 years into my marriage, those dishes really don't matter. That's like the last thing that we ever talk about. There's so much more to talk about. There's so many more important conversations to be had. So the question is, when you're going through a situation, ask yourself, how will I feel about this in 5 years from now? Will I even care? Will it not matter? Will it still be affecting me? And if it is still affecting me, what is the solution I need to try to put into place? What is the conversation that needs to be had with the individual? What is it that I need to do to really make sure that in 5 years, this situation is cool and copacetic? So I hope these journal prompts allowed you to really dig deeper into your self-discovery and your emotional healing. If you would like to have access to more emotional healing journal prompts, go to rachelharper.org. Go ahead and get your Emotional Healing Therapeutic Journal. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the Rachel Harper podcast. We're going to get many, many more journal prompts, and we'll have self-healing conversations. I'll see you next time.